All right, I wanted to make a video about this phrase I keep hearing, and it's by well-meaning people, but they mess it up every time. And it's Matthew 5:38 through 42, really. You've heard it said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil, but if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. Turn the other cheek is the phrase that we've been using for I don't know how long. This is how we picture it, right? Hey, what up, cuz? I'm gonna turn the other cheek. That's not what this passage means. This passage is talking about something that's deeper than just conflict resolution with a single person. Here, let's go back in time. The Hebrew population, all of the Israelites, they are slavery to prominence, to slavery to prominence, and they're trusting in God. Sound familiar? And then at one point in time, like, God just leaves. The whole time they've been expecting some mighty savior to come and save everybody. Even Jews today and Muslims today look forward to Messiah coming. They just don't believe that it was Jesus. Try to imagine an occupying force with weapons, and there's a lot of them. It's basically an army of people who live where you live. They tell you what to do. They tell you what you can't do. And if you get out of line, the consequences are severe. Okay? And they abuse this power from time to time. So they might make a casual citizen like carry their stuff for a mile, or they might like harass you and beat you up. They said Matthew in the Bible was a tax collector. Like, a tax collector back then wasn't just somebody that works at the IRS or somebody that comes and does an audit. Like, a tax collector back then was somebody who took the Roman tax and then they took whatever else they wanted from you, basically robbing you. That on top of this occupying force where Caesar is God and you better not say nothing about it, is when Jesus comes into the fold and comes into the picture, and he's saying a bunch of crazy stuff. One of the things that he told the people, because our natural instinct and even like their tradition told them, like, if you get hit that fool back. One of the things that Jesus is saying in this passage and was saying to those people was, if somebody hits you, offer up the other cheek. He wasn't saying turn the other cheek as like saying ignore it. That would actually be against what Jesus is saying right now. Jesus is basically telling these people to fight this battle against the Romans with non-complimentary behavior. Non-complimentary behavior is when you react to something in a way that is not predicated on what has happened. If I steal from the grocery store and they call the police and the police come, the complimentary behavior, or what I would expect, is that I would face consequences, get arrested, have a fine, or do jail time or whatever. I've never stolen from the grocery store and got caught. Non-complimentary behavior in that instance would be the cops showing up, looking at me and asking me a bunch of questions as to why I did it. You hear stories of shop owners who catch a shoplifter, and so they give them something for free, or they go above and beyond helping them. That's non-complimentary behavior. So what do you do when you have an occupying force that is basically oppressing you, and they're doing like these very atrocious things to you on a daily basis? Jesus, being as forward thinking and progressive as he is, says to them, non-complimentary behavior, turn the other cheek. He didn't say that. He said, offer up the other cheek. If you feel like you are in a position that you can hit me, here's another cheek for you to hit too. Get it out. Go ahead, get it out. Go ahead, get it out. Jesus wasn't non-violent and passive. Jesus was non-violent and aggressive. And this is my beef with most of Christianity in America today, is that when we see things that are going wrong with people who are being oppressed, we often think that if we just pray about it and be passive about it, then things will just magically fix themselves. If somebody's pissing you off and oppressing you, just don't make them oppress you anymore. Pray about them. Pray for them. Like, that'll fix everything, when that's not the truth. James says faith without works is dead. We hear that all the time. And that basically means that if you're not doing anything about what you're praying about, and you can do something about it, then your prayers are just you talking. Moses even had this idea in his mind that, like, you meet force with force, which sometimes is true. But when you're being oppressed, you meet force with a third option. When Pharaoh is approaching them in front of the Red Sea, Moses and everybody with them, they're thinking either we fight or we die, but there's a third option. And so what Moses does is he faces the crowd of people who are petrified, terrified, and he tells them that God is going to fight our battle. Fear not, oh stand firm. The Lord will fight for you and you will only have to be silent. But God interrupts all of this and he says, Moses, why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to move up. Put your staff over the sea and separate it. Divide the sea. He's giving you as much power as you're willing to accept, as much power as you're willing to go forward and move forward in. There's always a third option. Christians and even people who don't believe, like, this is a great point in history for us to look at the Bible itself and read the story and realize that the Bible is not about rules and principles. The Bible is about people who have been stepped on, who have been marginalized and defeated and conquered and enslaved, and how God responds to that. It's not about the powerful winning. It's about those who don't have power and how God came down in flesh in order to serve those people, in order to be an example for those people. You serve a God that looks at the whole scape of humanity and cares and loves and wants better for people's internal state first, because if you're not okay in here, then you will respond to everything with negativity. You will respond to everything the way the enemy wants you to. That's what this story's about. The narrative that you're involved in is about making change for the sake of people's insides, empowering people to be and do more, because for so long people have felt comfortable laying down, and for so long people have thought that the only other option is to be so aggressive that they become the aggressor. Stop using the Bible as a weapon to beat people up with. Start using the Bible as compassionate stories of God intervening in human history and promising people stuff and giving people stuff. Being a good dad, introducing people to other people who would help to advance them. I'm done. I could talk all day. Y'all ain't gonna listen. I don't even care.
Black man, do you know your worth? Did you know you're a black man? You were born to be a king, born to be a king.
So what they told you is irrelevant now.
You a slave to the paper.
It's irrelevant now.
Everybody is a hater.
It's irrelevant now.